Hello and welcome to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. Lovely to be with you again for another episode. This week we've got our guest today from the Kingdom Creative Arts School in Suva on Rewa Street. A husband and wife team. I must welcome you both to Speak Your Mind. Mr. Ben and Elizabeth Morrison, welcome to the show.
Naka. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Now, I will obviously direct my first question to your husband, if you don't mind, Elizabeth. But yes, I believe that you went to a Berklee College of Music in the U.S. Could you tell us a little bit more about this experience of yours?
Sure. First of all, just before I mention that, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you for having us on the show this morning.
Most welcome.
It's indeed a privilege for us to be here, and we also like to thank God for just this opportunity to be here this morning as well. Yes, I was very privileged to be able to attend the Berklee College of Music. In the music industry, they say it's the leading music school in the world. There's been about 205 Grammy Awards to alumni. So you have people like John Mayer, Wyclef, who've actually come through this school, it was. I would say it's a blessing for me. I couldn't explain it any other way to be actually the first Fijian to be actually a part of that school. For me, it was a real honor and a privilege, and I only hope that more aspiring musicians here in Fiji would make the step forward to try to get to that school. As a musician, it's like a kid in a candy shop for me. You meet talented musicians from all over the world, as far as Israel, Japan, Taiwan, even Russia, and there's amazing talented musicians from all over the world that sort of come in together at this school, and it's an amazing place to learn and to grow. So for me, it was indeed a privilege and an honor to be able to attend the school.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, that's wonderful. I mean, for a Fijian, first ever. And how did you end up there in the first place?
I was actually, funny story, I was pursuing a degree in mathematics at the USP, and then I just kind of got to this place where I realized that it wasn't my full potential. So I sort of did a bit of self-check and realized that I had this gift, which is music, and I wanted to pursue that forward. And I was referred to the school by Ingelese Ete, who's sort of been my mentor, someone that I've worked with for quite a while here in Fiji.
Right.
He referred me to the school because I asked him, "Hey Ete, what's the best music school in the world in your mind?" And he told me that was the school. So from there, it was just the application and going through the audition and actually making it in, and then from there on forward. But I would say Ete was the one that referred me to the school. So thank you again, Mr. Ete, for for referring me to that school. It was an awesome opportunity. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you could be the person to let any other Fijian who, like you said, could even go to that school as well. Okay, so anyway, we'll talk to Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, what do you do with your husband at the school?
I started off doing a lot of the administration work.
Yes.
Just being that support on the team, and then when I had a friend step in to take over a lot of the administration work for me, it freed my hands to do a lot more teaching. So I teach mainly children. I teach as young as 3 years old.
Wow.
On different instruments. So I teach mostly the children, junior artists. Grooming them and getting them ready for the more senior instructors once they're ready and kind of ripe, and then I pass them over to Ben, and Ben does the magic.
Okay.
I prepare them for what they're ready to learn of Ben. I major in teaching at KCA. I majored in teaching dance. That's kind of my passion.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. Dance. So modern dancing?
My strength lays in contemporary dancing.
Okay.
That's really where I work in the most. Yeah.
So you enjoy what you do, obviously.
I love what I do.
And I mean, you too, a perfect team, husband and wife, and you look still very young, which is even better. I mean, gosh.
Very young.
Yeah. Okay, so you do dance, and you were doing something that you obviously love. Confucius once said, you get a job that you love, you don't have to work a day in your life.
Yes.
So I think that's fantastic to be doing something that you love. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how long has your school been opened for now?
Well, we started off in 2013 doing what we called music camps. So
Okay.
we would actually just go into different areas and facilitate a music camp for a week. We would invite artists and musicians, dancers, songwriters, and all kinds of different artists, and we'd just come together and in a week do training with them. At the end of the week, we'd do a little community concert. That started in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So that went on for about 2 years before we then actually established the more in-depth development program, which is now Kingdom Creative Arts, which started in 2014. So the school itself we've been operating for a little bit over 2 years now.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. I mean, I really feel proud of you to just talking to you. And yes, so it started in 2014, and it can't be easy, running your own business. It must take a lot of work. And well, obviously, it will take a lot of work before you see the fruits
Yeah.
that will obviously come in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So anyway, we'll talk about how did you come up with the idea of opening the Kingdom Creative Arts School in Fiji?
Okay.
Can you remember how you came up with the idea?
Yes, it actually it was really a question that I asked myself. Do I want to work a job that's just for me my whole life, which was what I was pursuing, which is a career in somewhere in the area of mathematics or computing science,
Right.
which is what I have a degree in from the university.
Oh my gosh.
But then I realized I wouldn't be so passionate sitting behind a computer table my whole life, and I realized I had a passion to serve and to help people.
Yeah.
So I try to answer the questions of what am I most passionate about, and what would I see myself doing for the rest of my life, putting money aside, out of the picture, and that brought me to the place of realizing that what I wanted to do was use my gift, which is creative arts and music, to be able to serve people, and that's sort of where Kingdom Creative Arts was established. The vision of Kingdom Creative Arts is to nurture artistry, build character, and grow leaders. We've been blessed sort of to be involved in different leadership places here in Fiji, and like serving in the National Youth Council and other places. So we've sort of had this. I feel it's a calling on our lives to lead, but through the gift that we have, which is music. So what we want to encourage every student that comes through our school is that the gift that they have is not just to entertain, it's not just to make money, but it's more than that. It's about serving people, it's about building community, because I think at the end of the day, if you're just making money, it won't be really fulfilled. I've rubbed shoulders with millionaires, musicians, having been traveled to Boston, and I realized that they make all this money, but they still feel empty. I had John Mayer sitting down and doing a workshop with us and saying all the money in the world and the fame and the travel that really didn't fulfill him, didn't satisfy him, so he got into drugs and all of these things. So I realized it's not just about music. It's not about just me doing what I love doing. I mean, it's not just about me doing what I'm good at, but it's about doing it for the purpose of helping others.
That's wonderful. Well, we'll be back shortly on Speak Your Mind, Gold FM, only the classic hits. We're back. Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. This is a live radio talkback show, and the delayed coverage we have shown on FBC TV every Tuesday nights and Wednesday mornings. Thank you a lot for your company. Our guest in the studio today, they are the directors and founders of the Kingdom Creative Arts School. That's in Suva on Rewa Street, and a very nice young couple that I'm talking about. And just had Ben, who mentioned, how you went to school, and John Mayer saying that, all the money in the world, well, obviously won't be able to buy you happiness. So it's more about the passion. Is that what you meant, Ben?
Yes. I believe it was passion and being able to see someone else's life made better by your gift. I think that was what the real fulfillment that he found in his life, when his music was able to bring life to other people. So that's sort of what Kingdom Creative Arts aspires to do, is to build or nurture artists who use their gift to not just entertain but to improve people's lives and build a better Fiji.
Yes, of course. And Elizabeth, I'm sure you feel the same. Like you said, you love teaching the little children how to dance. How do you say? I always get caught.
Contemporary
I
dance.
know, that's a terrible word for me. So you teach them at that very young age.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so then how do people get in touch with you if they want to bring their children to be able to learn dance from you?
Well, we have a Facebook page.
Okay.
That's quite popular. A lot of people contact us via our Facebook page.
Mm.
The Facebook page has all the information, like our emails, our phone numbers. Yeah, we haven't done a lot of marketing. A lot of people just contact us via emails, and then whoever just knows us, word by mouth, word gets around. And that's
Okay.
how, yeah.
So they must remember, most importantly, Kingdom Creative Arts School.
Yes,
That's how they
Kingdom
can
Creative
find
Arts School. If they just type that in
Mhm.
on
Kingdom Creative
Facebook.
Arts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kingdom Creative
Creative
Arts
Arts,
is the
yeah.
name of the Facebook page.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that'll
You'll
be
find
great.
us, yeah.
So, I mean, you teach children from 3 years old?
Yeah, we've taught as young as 3 and as old as, I think she was 60, in her 60s.
55, I would say.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I thought it was 60,
Oh, that's so sweet. So, I mean, like Ben said, he gets the satisfaction from helping people to improve their lives. But how would you describe arts for, people to be doing arts? It is, I'm sure, a very necessary thing to have in your life.
Yeah, well, if you study arts has shaped society.
Okay.
We are who we are based on the artistic expressions of people that have come on before us, and we've captured that, and then it's actually ingrained in our lives. And the arts industry around the world, it's a booming industry because people, as they get more and more involved into their daily life,
Mhm.
they need the arts to bring some sort of
Balance.
joy or pleasure in their lives, yes? And we realize that it's such a huge part of our lives. So it's very critical, I believe, in the development of a people, the arts. And we've realized that arts is a way that we share information. We teach our children. If you look at our culture, that's the way that we've passed on values and truths through the arts, through singing, through dance, through music,
Yes.
which is the big. Actually, it's a huge way which we have learned over the years, and still today, you'll realize that a lot of our people here in Fiji are very artistic. It's because it's a big part of our culture. We're not so much I wouldn't say that we are not classroom kind of people, but a lot of what we learn through music and dance. You see that in the churches, the thriving churches in Fiji. A big part of what we do is through music and dance and the arts. So yeah, I would say it's a big part of our culture, our people, especially here in Fiji. So it's just a matter of us being able to understand that and
Go more in depth
go more
into
in
it.
depth into it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it brings the joy to your life. I mean,
Yeah.
because you're actually doing something that you're interested in.
Yeah.
I mean, arts. Do you think that we should have more entertainment in the country? This is something I miss, having something like a Broadway show. Or are you looking at something like that in the future, maybe?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of dreams that we have for the future for Fiji. Like you said, Broadway and more live shows,
Yeah.
and just coming away. I mean, no offense to these DJs who are here in Fiji, but we need to come away from a lot of this kind of music that we hear on buses and stuff like that, and,
Right.
and really get down to real music where you're expressing, musicianship and all of that. And again, I have nothing against them, but I just feel like there's so much more that we can tap into in terms of musicianship and artistry, and we will really hope that Kingdom Creative Arts can be one of those programs, because I know we're not the only one. We're
Yeah.
working alongside other schools that are
Yes.
out there in Fiji. We want to be able to partner with these programs to help develop the arts industry in Fiji.
Absolutely. I mean, you have different classes, okay? So maybe a bit of information on what you teach in your classes or coursework that you do.
Sure. We teach a few different instruments. We do we teach the keyboard. We teach bass guitar, electric and acoustic guitar. We teach drums. We also do photography and video. We have an instructor. We're privileged to have him actually. He graduated from King's School of Media in Israel.
Wow.
And so he takes our photography and video lessons and classes. Then we do dance as well.
Voice training.
And we do vocal training. Yeah, that's a big part. Vocal training. We do vocal training. And then besides just teaching the music, we also, Ben teaches a bit, especially for the more senior students, Ben just teaches a bit on, music business and what it means to take your music out into the real world. So I think that's a major part as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back again very soon on Gold FM, only the classic hits. This is Speak Your Mind. Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. Thanks a lot for your company. This is your only classic hits radio station in Fiji. And our guest in the studio, the directors and founders of the Kingdom Creative Arts School in Suva on Rewa Street. And we just spoke to Elizabeth, who has revealed to us the different classes that you have and also how you've had someone that you're really lucky to have who graduated from, where was it, Israel?
Yeah, King's School of Media in Israel.
Right, okay. So now, you do sound engineering as well, classes?
Yes.
Is that right? So
Yeah.
when you went to the USA, did you actually take that as a course?
Yeah.
Sound engineering. So
Yeah.
from mathematics to sound engineering. And you found it interesting?
Oh yes, I think it's one of the most important elements of music. Before the music reaches the audience ear, is it has to go through that engineering phase.
I know. There's
Yeah.
nothing worse than going to a concert and then you start getting all the speakers popping and you don't have the proper sound. It's all
Yeah.
muffled. So you are actually the professional at that now, and you teach sound engineering.
Yes, yes.
Wow, that's wonderful. So, carry on. You said it's really important before, even the entertainment, the sound has to be perfect.
Yeah. I think we've done a good job so far in Fiji, just based on the knowledge that we have in terms of sound engineers of doing that. But I think there's so much more to learn
Yeah.
about quality sound. I mean, you go overseas and you sit in a concert, it's perfect. The sound is perfect. That's because there's a lot of calculations that go into place. You're understanding room size, acoustics, and all of this. So it's no guesswork, which in Fiji we're good at that. We're good at improvising. We're good
Right.
at working with whatever we have.
Yeah.
But I believe there's probably it's the generation that's coming now that's gonna take that a step further, just because of the information that's readily available. And I mean, there's heaps of resources that are out there. You got YouTube. We basically can learn anything
Yes.
today, but it's a matter of us wanting to learn and develop in that area.
Yeah.
And I think Fiji is sort of I would say the hub of the Pacific. So as we develop, the Pacific Islands as well is developing around us. They're sort of following us. So we play a big part in developing the whole of Pacific in terms of music and the arts.
Right. So, with sound engineering, like you said, they're pretty good here. I mean, they're more self-taught, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
So they would need to get more on the technical side, or like you said, the acoustics, where the speaker has to be placed, and you are the one to teach them all that.
Yes, I'm one of the ones.
One of the ones.
One of the
Okay,
ones.
so that will come down to your instructors. How many do you have altogether?
Well, we have a team of 8 at the moment.
Okay.
8 instructors, and we have 2 admin staff on the team. We
Yeah.
also have a graphic designer, administrator.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, at the moment we have a team of 8 who, like Libya said, teach all those instruments: piano, drums,
Wow.
bass, acoustic. We do voice training. We've been privileged to have quite a number of seasoned musicians on the team as well, such as Elena Mbaravilala.
Okay.
And Dikata, who's the lead singer of Eagles Wings band, vocal gospel group,
Right.
and just other individuals. So we really we really have decided to have a team that is experienced teaching. And as much as we
Yes.
can share with our students, we do that.
Okay, so why would you recommend the Kingdom Creative Arts School to interested people who maybe want to enroll at your school?
Well, I wouldn't say we're better than other schools, but I do say that we have a great passion to see artistry developed. And when I say artistry, one side of understanding artistry is learning off of what other musicians have displayed. And usually, if you go to music school, that's what they'll do. They'll teach you what older musicians have played. For example, in jazz, you look at people like Monk and other great jazz musicians. And the other aspect of that is creativity, is our ability to be creative and use that knowledge and create your own and improvising. So we encourage a lot of our students to do that, to be creative, improvise, and think outside the box. And I believe we have so much potential. You look at it on the rugby field,
Yes.
we have so much potential in terms of creativity, the skill, the flair when we're playing rugby. I think that also can translate into music in terms of what can come out of Fiji, the different ideas.
Right.
We have a different sound here in Fiji where we incorporate the traditional sounds, the lali. You don't hear any lali sound in any mainstream pop music overseas. It's something different, something unique. So I think it's time that we're doing that we do more of that and bring a unique sound into the music industry.
Yes.
I like the work that groups like Black Rose have done, which they've done that well, and we would like to see more of that happening. And also we are based on our faith, which is in God and in Christ. We work a lot with churches, so we do a lot of work with churches, and we nurture worship teams, so bands from different worship teams who want to nurture their musicians. We also have specific sort of a stream for just worship, those who are interested in worship music.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
So that's what you teach. Okay,
Yeah.
that's really interesting. How you've got a good outlook on the talent that we have in Fiji, and it only needs to be tapped into.
Yeah.
Okay, so your instructors, you've got 8, and how do you run your lessons? Is it like in a group, or do you, your lessons at the school?
So the lessons at the school run both in a group as well as private lessons. So all of the ensembles, we call them, which is the group lessons, this happens on Tuesdays. And that's where all the levels get together. So we have all the children get together, all the level 2s, level 3s, they get together. And then we teach, just general music theory. We go into different genres of music that there are. So we learn more in groups. And then on the different days that they choose their hours of coming, that's when we do private classes. And each class has a maximum of 2 to 3 students. We don't like to push over that because we want every student to master what they're learning. So a lot of our classes are one-on-one. There are very few that are 2 to 3 per instructor, and that's usually because people sign up late and then there's no more slots, and so we negotiate that with parents and classes. So we have both private and group lessons as well.
Great. Gold FM, only the classic hits. Speak your mind. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. And our guest in the studio today, the directors and the founders of the Kingdom Creative Arts School in Suva on Rewa Street. Now, very interesting what you had to share with us, Elizabeth, of how you run the classes. And just another question, we've got school holidays coming up. And I reckon, instead of children doing useless things, being a pest to their parents, always wanting money to go out, this would be a perfect opportunity to get them, I mean, that's if your school is open during the holidays, to, learn something from the arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have a holiday program which starts on the 5th of December and it runs for 2 weeks. So that's every day for 2 weeks. It's from about 10 to 4 p.m. Every day.
With a lunch hour break.
Yes, and basically what we're doing with that program, we started something last year, our Christmas production, which we did at Civic Center. And this year we sort of want to do a different approach with our Christmas production. We really want to be able to take what we have to those that cannot come, to who are not who don't have as easy access to this kind of education as others would here in the city. So what we want to do with our Christmas production is we actually want to take it out into more rural communities.
Nice.
So out of this holiday program, whoever's interested from that holiday program will work towards putting together a Christmas production, which we want to take out into rural communities the week. So that'll be around the week before Christmas, which we'll be taking the production around.
Wow, that'll be lovely. So like singers, dancers, the whole
Yeah,
works.
The whole
Yes,
works.
the whole
It's a whole
works.
show. It's a whole whole production show that we want to take around.
Wow, that's something new for Fiji. Okay, just about your teaching. I know that in Fiji we have a lot of people who play music by ear. You know, like they don't know how to read music. What would you like to add on to that?
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's, there's artists and musicians overseas who study at schools like Juilliard. Juilliard is one of the leading music schools, but more classically trained.
Yes.
Where I've seen that they can read music, but they can't play by ear.
Right.
So it's a skill in itself, and it's
Yeah.
something that we've here in the Pacific have developed with. But it doesn't mean that that's where it ends. Development can continue much further than that if you learn how to read music, and that's where the learning how to read comes in. Because through reading music, you can actually interpret other musicians' works and their pieces, and play it yourself. More complex pieces. So I think they both go hand in hand. They're both important and they're great skills, and it ultimately you want to have both.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
would anyone have both? I thought like if you knew how to play by ear, you wouldn't be able to have both
Oh no,
skills.
yeah, you can definitely
can?
have both. And
That's
it's just a
very
matter of
interesting.
learning, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can have
Yeah.
both. We have a few students actually who came to the school knowing how to read music,
Yeah.
and they want to learn how to hear it and play it. So we've had an interesting mix. People who are coming
Okay.
in wanting to learn how to read,
Yeah.
and people who are coming in knowing how to read, but they want to learn how the Fijians play.
Oh, okay. So then you've
It's
got
interesting.
oh, yeah, very interesting. So you've got your instructors who can deal with that.
Yeah, our curriculum is I would say unique because it's not set in stone, as in one type of lesson for every child. It's based on the child's learning ability and what they want to learn, basically, and then we work from there with every child. We've had students coming in with parents who said that they've had learning difficulties at school.
Yeah.
But they've come in and they've just thrived in music, and because of that, their parents are coming back to us and saying now they're excelling in their schoolwork.
There you
So
go.
there's something about music, which scientifically is proven. When you actually engage in a music piece where you're playing and singing all at the same time, you engage most parts of your brain compared to other activities.
Wow.
So it's one of the most engaging activities that a human can engage in.
Yes.
Is music.
True. So how do you think that the Kingdom Creative Arts School will create pathways for careers in the art industry?
Well, one of the things that we've already done, we've started employing musicians who didn't have work otherwise to actually come and teach.
Right.
Who've been playing, who have the experience. So we've brought them in, we've trained them, and now they're actually some full-time, some part-time instructors at the school. And we see that growing. One of the things we also want to be able to do is more community development programs, which involve things like concerts and festivals in the communities, which obviously will need support and funding for.
Right.
But these projects will able to be avenues where people can become employed throughout the program, the projects that are happening. And we've done a few of that in the past, but we see more of that happening. We also, one of the programs that we're offering now, and we're doing it for the first time, is a singer-songwriter package, where we're bringing in passionate vocalists
Yes.
who are serious about their music, and we want to be able to train them produce their music and launch their music, and sort of create a pathway for them as an upcoming artist. It's not something that's new here in Fiji, but we want to be able to establish the whole connection from the pen, writing the song, to the paper, all the way to the stage, where they're performing their original pieces in front of an audience.
Wow.
And releasing their music and all of that. So that's the other way we see being able to develop and creating career pathways for passionate musicians.
And who better to do it than someone who has attended the Berklee College of Music in Boston, USA, I must say. So, I mean, for them to become composers, that's like what you were saying, thinking out of the box. Being able to write your own music. Just think up the melody in your mind and do it. So that's probably what you encourage at the school?
Absolutely. And we're full of talent. There's so much talent that's around Fiji. You see it on YouTube and you see all the videos, upcoming bands that are coming up. And we see that there's potential there, and all we are in this is an opportunity for that talent to be further developed for those that are interested.
Absolutely. Gold FM, only the classic hits. This is Speak Your Mind, and we'll be back soon. Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. Thank you a lot for your company. This is a live radio talkback show, and we have the delayed coverage shown on FBC TV every Tuesday nights and Wednesday mornings. And I trust you're enjoying this week's episode, where we have our guest in the studio today, the very creative couple from the Kingdom Creative Arts School in Suva on Rewa Street, just telling us about how important art is to life. Like just said, it makes you happy. And isn't that what life's about, being happy? And also, getting the children to be happy as well, or whoever. It doesn't matter if you're a child, or even like you said, your oldest dance student was 65. Was that right?
Yeah, 50-something.
Oh, okay, well, 50-something. So there you go. And, school holidays coming up. You've got to get children to do things constructive. I mean, otherwise they'll be just wasting their time. And there's no better way to get them to do something like what you have at your school. Yeah.
And I think music plays a big part in our, like you said, plays a big part in our society. And I've mentioned this to a few people. We see the rising in issues that are happening around us in Fiji with all these cases in rape and other things that's happening. And many times we've overlooked the part that music has to play in this. And we're seeing the kind of music that comes into our country today. There's so much different kinds of music that portrays different messages and pictures. Even in our buses, we're listening to kind of music that are playing in our buses today, and
Good point.
I'm asking myself the question, like, do these people actually know what they're playing on their buses? And this is music kids listen to every day when they go to school. So on their way to school, on their way back, Monday through Friday. So it becomes program. It becomes ingrained into them. You think on something for an extended period of time, it becomes a part of you, and eventually you take the action forward. You see events like Coca-Cola games in the evenings. Kids are just scattered around town, and I was actually disturbed by some of the things that I saw last Coca-Cola games. But my point is how music plays a big part in shaping culture and shaping people. And I feel like we need to be aware of the kind of music that's playing around us and the kind of music we're encouraging our kids to listen to. I actually like to say that the older music that we had, the golden music.
Yeah, the music here, Gold FM.
The golden music, yes.
Right.
That was music that showed musicality, and it expressed life and valued people, valued relationship, valued family. And those some of the things that we encourage as well, is to create music that are like that and encourage that kind of music. Because music shapes us in a very powerful way. We don't realize it. I can't get into detail on it, but I think if we become more aware, we can actually shape our nation and help play a part in building our nation.
That is such a wonderful point that you brought up, because, you said in the bus, how you
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, music, it plays a huge part in people's lives. It becomes influential.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, it's almost like you said, if you listen to it every day in the bus, you're
Yeah.
obviously going to get brainwashed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like anything else, you can get
Yeah.
brainwashed on. But, he just got it right on the
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
there. So, for like what you two are doing, you will have, good messages, happy messages.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
To teach children the moral of life, to be a good person, have a good conduct,
Yes.
and have music that interpretates this,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful point that he
Yeah.
brought up.
I write pieces, like I'm a spoken word artist as well, so I write pieces, and one of the pieces I just finished writing is called "And We Wonder Why," and I'm talking about this point exactly. Like, we get on buses and we listen to music that's just we shouldn't be listening to, and it's even on taxis. And then when the
Yeah.
headlines
Yeah.
is
You have these songs, they're actually swearing
Yeah.
on these
Yeah.
and vulgar language.
Yeah.
It's we're trying to deal with some of these issues,
Yeah.
but we're
Yeah.
letting them play on our buses.
we're
Yeah.
trying to deal with the outcome, then when the headlines come out and it's 5 year ago old girl raped and da 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 da, and then we wonder why. But it's simply because on the onset we weren't aware of what our kids are listening to, what we're listening to every day. And I think more than just our passion, this is one of the reasons we decided we're going to get into the music industry, because it's an influential industry, and
Absolutely.
we want to influence the nation in this
Good
sort of way,
things.
Yeah. And our vision, like I said, it's nurturing artistry, it's building character and growing leaders.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we wanna be able to nurture musicians who realize the power of their music.
Yeah.
They can influence the world.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, you see the power in
Yeah.
his music. He
Oh,
influenced the
Marley.
whole world. Different artists and musicians who have come through, which we've witnessed, they have had the influence the world. So we want to be able to capture this amazing gift, which is music, but use it to help build our country,
Yeah.
which I believe all of us want to do. Want to see a better Fiji. And our small part is
Yeah.
encouraging and creating more awareness that music is also one of those ways to build our nation. So I would like to sit down with ministers and actually share with them how
you
powerful music is,
You
in
should
shaping.
do so.
Yeah.
You should do so, because they first of all need to monitor the music playing on the buses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I remember once when I was in the bus and they had this Rihanna, and I was looking around the bus, I was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, there's children
Yeah.
here,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
just inappropriate.
Yeah.
It's not even just the children. Like, if I was sitting on a bus and there's an elderly man sitting beside me, I would be so uncomfortable.
It's a bit
So
weird, eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's not even our culture.
Exactly.
We don't allow it in our homes, but we don't realize that it's everywhere outside of the homes. And I think we need to work together to be able to, at least guide music that can help and build people.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best. I know that
Thank
you
you.
have really good intentions. The Kingdom Creative Arts School, be sure to get enrolled and be a part of this wonderful husband and wife team. That's, of course, Elizabeth and Ben Morrison. Sorry about that. But, we've come to an end. And just lastly, please just let the listener know again how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, we can be contacted on Facebook. So just look for Kingdom Creative Arts on Facebook, and it has our email, it has our phone number, and any other way. But Facebook is the main means to communicate with us at the school. Yeah,
And we're located on 102 Railway
Rawa
Street.
Yes.
So it's
Lovely.
the corner of Railway Street and Neluba.
Well, it has been such a pleasure talking to you too. Have
Thank you, likewise.
a great afternoon.
Vinaka.
And Vinaka, from me, Louise, until the next episode on Speak Your Mind, Vinaka Vakalevu ni Samwa Demanda.